Yeah, they're going to be busy this weekend. Leaf Rugby League 3/4 on Facebook. If you like a punt on Rugby League, get over there. They'll be talking about all the hackers, all the accumulators, all the stuff that I don't even know what it means. But anyway, if you like a bet, get yourself over there. Go and have a little look at that. We have now come to the final game of the season. I'm buzzing. I'm ready. Come on. Oh, you can't beat grand finals, can you? This is outstanding stuff. We're going to be there with the Super League Raw community. Right. Spoiler alert. I asked in the chat, would you have gone to the grand final if you had a friend to go with? And nobody put anything in there. What an opportunity lost. Ladies and gentlemen, Super League Raw are going to give away a ticket to join us this Saturday. And you haven't took the opportunity. So what I'm going to do is this. For all of you wonderful people that are watching us tonight, this is what you're going to have to do to be in with a shout. I will do a draw tomorrow.
Give it to Craig.
By all means do, but no, in the spirit of honesty and openness. Right, this is what you have to do, ladies and gentlemen. If you want to come with the Super League Raw family, see what it's all about. Whether you remember it or not, a member could win it, of course. You will be automatically entered, members. But do me a favour, the members, just drop me a line because you might not be able to go. So drop me a line if you'd like to be included in this one. I know that the time frame is really, really short. And it's Phil Webster's watching, the winner of our quiz. You need to drop me a line, Phil. I've not got any contact details for you. I need to get your ticket to you. So will you please get us those details so I can send you your ticket. You won the quiz. You deserve to come, mate. So this is what you're going to have to do. If you want to be in that draw, if your members are automatically in, but I still want you to do what I'm going to ask non-members to do. What I'd like you to do is when we're finished tonight, I want you to share this link on Facebook to your friends and to your family. And I want you to put in the comments why they should watch us. Why should they watch us?
Apparently, Rebecca Frey said she would like the ticket.
Of course she would, but unfortunately, the time has gone. So I'm not. Rebecca said she would. Well, I'll check that. Is it in there that she says she would?
No, Alex Sharp said Rebecca Frey said she would.
Right, Alex, I need clarity on that. Was that before or after? I need a bit of clarity. Because Rebecca could be coming.
Working for you, Rebecca. I'm working for you.
Yes, isn't she? Right. Okay. Well, hang on. Hold the presses. Rebecca might be coming. So we'll just let that play out. And if not, you need to write on. You need to like and share what you're watching on now. Why people should watch Super League Raw weekly every week. You could be coming to the grand final with Super League Raw. And don't forget, Phil, you need to drop me a line for your ticket. Right. Let's get into the final. First things first. Let's get all the negativity out of the way right now. The eyes of the world are watching you, Mr. Kendall. They are watching you. We want no controversy in the grand final. None at all. Greg, how big is it that Mr. Kendall keeps his Clinton cards in his pocket?
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, come on. I think he will. I really do think he will. I think the grand final is a massive stage, and I really, really hope that we're talking about the two teams. As I said on Final Whistle, maybe some of the shine was taken off Hull KR's win because of what had happened, and that's unfair on Hull KR's performance. And I really, really hope that the team that wins it because they play the best rugby. That's all we can ask for at the end of the day. It's a showpiece. It's the pinnacle of the season, so let the teams do the talking on the pitch.
Well, Carl Smith's saying that Craig won't comment about the refs, and of course he probably won't. He probably won't.
Oh, well, I always get myself into trouble, mate. I don't mind commenting.
So, I mean, what we don't want to see, Craig, is, and look, Greg and I are Warrington fans. We believe that KR, no issue with the KR being in the final. These things happen in the game of rugby league. But for us, that was not a try. And we don't want to see, and I think most rugby league fans, if that goes up as a no try, it's a no try. What's your take on this on-field decision? I mean, should it just be, I don't know, they either give it on the field or it's up to the referee to decide yes or no? Because if it was a yes or no decision, I don't think the referee gives the try. So does that need to change? And how much are you praying for the good of the game that we don't have any controversy like that on Saturday?
It's a double-edged sword for me, because if there were no cameras there, what decision would he have given? He sent it up as a try. I think the actual laws of the game doesn't actually specify that you need to see the ball grounded. I think if if his body's there, the referee can make the decision based on what he thought he'd see, or what he thought he might have happened, or what he thought he'd see. So if there's no cameras there and that goes up as a try, then nobody's even talking about it. For me, the actual rule of sending it up as a try or a no try needs to finish. I've never been a fan of that. I think if you're not sure, send it up and you say, right, you've got 6-8 cameras, however many cameras that are there. Have a look at it and see if you can see if it's grounded. And it's not. Look, I know it was a big game, it was a semi-final, but it's not the only time it's happened this year. So we can't just focus on one. We can't just focus on one game and say, that's ruined the season, because it's happened probably a dozen times this year in other games. But because it's game 2 of the season or game 8 of the season, it doesn't really matter a great deal. But in fact, it might have mattered on league positions. It might have mattered on wins and losses. So for me, just because it happened in a semi-final, we can't sit and cry about the decisions that are being made. It's been the same all the way through the season. I know you mentioned let's not have any cards, but we can't change the rules because it's final. We've had the same rules all the way through the season. We can't just change the rules on the last game of the season based on all the other games being refereed exactly the same way. And we've all talked about it all season that we think it's been a bit too far-fetched, and the way the game's gone, players are overprotected now, and I see it with talking about the insurance of the game. We can't have a game without insurance, and there needs to be changes made. I get that, but I think my personal opinion as an individual, as a rugby fan, it's gone too far. I think there's a difference between accidental. There's a difference between somebody coming out of the line with a stiff arm, swinging and take somebody's head off, or with an elbow, whatever it is. If it's just a slight technique or technicality issue, that's the difference between actually shooting out of the line and trying to take somebody's teeth out of the mouth. That's completely different to me. But we can't referee the game any differently because it's a final. And for me, the decision last week from the referee, I didn't have any issue with it. He gave the decision based on what he needed to do as a referee. So I'm not going to complain. And for me, again, I've always said, I've always tried to take referees out of the equation. Referees don't knock on, referees aren't offside, referees don't kick the ball out on the full, referees don't miss tackle. So if a referee makes one mistake in a game, there's 1,000 other areas of the game where your players as individuals and collectively can make a difference to the outcome of that game. So one issue, although it might have had a big impact on that game, there'll have been 1,000 other issues during that game that could have impacted on the outcome of the game as well. So take the referee out of the equation. Let's not make excuses and crack on.
Fair enough. There you go. And be careful here, Craig, because people will be wanting you back every week. Alex Sharp.
Well, you're welcome
Craig
back.
Lingard this evening. Alex Gibbs saying you're a top bloke. Happy days.
Listen, mate, I'm going to have to come back because I didn't realise that we could drink while we were doing it. So I've got to come back and I've got to crack some cans of Guinness open, and I'll probably get more honest. I'll get more honest as the evening goes on, then, mate.
Maybe it's better you don't, Craig.
Bring text with you, and that'll be comedy gold. Happy days. Steph, like I say, massive this weekend. Let's just hope that the referees are there. I'm going to move on because we've got lots to do, if that's all right. So I'll give Steph first stabs on the next bit. Right. Are we learning anything from the picture that was took today? Do we think that Liam Farrell's fit or not? Because, of course, Cade Ellis and Elliot Minchella were on the official photo. These were the teams that lined up in the semi-final, and I don't think they're going to be a million miles off these teams. I think the only changes, and I'll get your views on this, chaps, when I've gone through it, but I think for me, the only changes I see happening, if Farrell's fit, there's a massive decision to be made on Sam Walters. 2 tries against Lee. I think we all agreed it wasn't the best version of Lee. Farrell is the club captain, so you'd expect Farrell to come back unless it's a changing of the guard, as it were. But has Sam Walters done enough then to retain a bench spot? From there, it's unlikely that Byrne, Dupree and Mago are going to be dropped. So does he then drop in instead of Forby, which would mean that Cruz Leeming has got a big shift to do at hooker? I'll get your views on that. As for the Robins, of course, one of the surprises for me was that Jack Broadbent got the nod over Tom Opachik. That really surprised me. Any KR fans in the chat, is Opachik injured or not? I'm not quite sure, but I was surprised at that, I have to say, from a defensive perspective. So there might be a decision to be made there. Apart from that, I think the back line is what it is. The only other decision, of course, will be that Elliot Minchella comes back. I think Dean Hadley will probably be put back into the front row. Maybe Jai Whitbread put on the bench, which means Jack Brown will drop out. So I think Jack Brown will not drop out. Jai Whitbread will possibly drop down onto the bench as an impact player off the bench. And maybe Dean Hadley goes up to prop forward with Minchella obviously starting at loose forward. So I'll bring you in because a lot of the stats that we've done is based on my observations there. Does anybody disagree with these teams or be very similar to the semi-final teams? Does anybody see anything that I've just said not actually happening? Over to you guys.
I don't see. I know you mentioned you're surprised that Jack Broadbent played against over Tom Opacic, but I didn't see that as a surprise. Jack Broadbent's there next year. Tom Opacic has already been confirmed that he's leaving, so I think it's maybe a similar situation to the George King scenario where he's leaving. So why play a player who's leaving over players that are staying? That's more of a long term thing for me. I know it's a short term thing with it being a final, but you're looking after the players that are there longer term. So I don't really see that as being a massive shock if they're still looking for a centre. I think Jack will play there rather than bringing Tom Pitch back in. The Sam Walters one, like I say, I think if Liam Farrell's fit, he definitely plays. Does Sam Walters go on the bench? I think it probably does, and it's maybe Tom Forber that miss out. Cruz leaving can do longer minutes at 9, and you could just chuck. Cade Ellis could drop in at 9 at dummy half. Luke Thompson did it a little bit, didn't he? So you could find somebody who could fill in there for 5, 10, 15 minutes just to give Cruz Lehman a rest. But knowing Matty Pete, he'll pick whatever team he thinks is going to win. He'll not have any emotion in that based on how somebody might have played in that semi-final. So if he thinks his best option is not to play Sam Walters, he won't play him.
Well, he proved that with Eckersley. Eckersley's had a fantastic season, hasn't he, for Wigan? Yeah. He will find an eating semi-final team. I agree. I think Burgess probably does keep his spot. But I was surprised Opacic was left out. But I get your point, Craig, in terms of longevity. I get that absolutely. I think the only change I see on the KR team is Minchella in, Howdy to prop. Probably Whitbread, because they've done that quite a lot this season, bringing Whitbread off the bench. Steph, I'll come to Greg for Wigan. Steph, in terms of Hull KR, do you see it the same way? It'll be Minchella, Yulus, Hadley at prop, and it'll be Brown out and Whitbread on the bench.
Well, yeah. Well, thanks for letting me follow a Super League coach there, Dave.
Right,
yeah, I agree exactly with what Craig just said. He summed up perfectly in terms of. I'm not going to disagree with him in the slightest. He knows far more than me.
Fair enough. Greg, in terms of Wigan, if Farrell's fit, Craig's right. He's in probably.
Mate, yeah,
captain. But he wasn't on the picture, so. Was that a case if they were just leaving him back at the ranch, still working on his recovery? Is that a little bit of a red herring that he's gone there the way? Because a lot of people will look at that photo, Cade Ellis and Minchella, and think Farrell's not playing.
Yeah, I think they will be doing everything behind the scenes to get Farrell fit. If Farrell is fit, he plays. It's as simple as that. But is Gildart fit again for Hull KR? Maybe a Hull KR.
Gildart, no, he's out, isn't he? He's injured. He's
not back. Anyway, back to Wigan. Yeah, if Liam Farrell is fit, he plays. And then, who drops from the bench? Probably Tom Forber drops from the bench, unfortunately.
Well, Craig Forth saying that he thinks Dupree might go based on his performance last week. That's interesting.
I don't know. It's different horses for different courses, isn't it? Hull KR have got a fairly decent pack. So you might want forward power on the bench. There's
a lot of talk in the chat that Gildart might be fit, so that could change things.
Well, yeah, maybe. But when you're talking about Wigan and talking about KR have got a fairly powerful pack. So if you bring Farrell back in, I don't think Dupree will drop out. Unfortunately, I think it might be Tom Forber. And drop Cade Ellis into hooker.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Forward probably is the one to miss out. Mrs. Sales,
and he's just signed a new deal for a few years as Tom Forber. He's going to be a great player, Tom Forber.
Mrs. Sales in the chat saying she's always liked Craig ever since he wore no shoes at Batley. I have to say, on behalf of the members, Craig, we do give you a little bit of sport on Super League Raw. I don't hide behind the cushion when you come on. Are you in a Happy Mondays tribute band as Bez?
No, I'm not. No. It's just I've never liked wearing them, mate. There's no. I think people have asked me, is it ground and is it spiritual? No, I just don't like wearing them. I'm not that deep, mate.
Oh, what about the shoes? What about your hats?
Oh, yeah. I'm just weird, mate. I'm just a weirdo. I don't like conforming.
Oh, you like the charlatans then?
Happy days. Right, let's get into some analysis, boys. Right, let's get into some analysis. So, let's get into some key facts. We did this for the last 2 games. Let's go again. Combined score 2024, ladies and gentlemen. Warriors 72, the Robins 52. Only 20 in it. Wigan scored 1 more point in attack this season and conceded 22 less. So, better on both fronts. But look at the difference that KR have made this year. They've scored 130 more points and conceded 172 less. Quite exceptional on both sides of the ball. We're going to search in for an unprecedented quadruple. This is the Robins' first time at the grand final. We're going to have a win ratio of 50% in grand finals, won 6, lost 6. The Robins would be only the 5th team, for those who don't watch Super League that often, to win the grand final. We've only ever had right, let's get into the 2-1. One a couple of weeks ago at the Brick, and let's not forget Doncaster, 38 points to 6, and the Warriors really did put on a show that day. Warriors coming on a 5-game winning streak, just that loss to the Warriors troubling KR. Last year's positions 1st and 4th, this year 1st and 2nd, a brilliant improvement. Look at this, guys, look at this. The average score, the average for 27 points scored Wigan, 26 KR, and both average conceding 12, 1 point in it. Wow. If that doesn't make our mouth salivate for what could be an incredible grand final, I don't know what would. These two are so close. Wigan, of course, go in favourites 2-5. The Robins are 9-4. Right, I'll just take you through the last bit of stats and then we'll have a little chat about where we see those stats. 131 tries Wigan have scored this year, 135 KR. Look at the tackle efficiency. A little bit better for Wigan, but only 0.5. Incredible. Look at the tackle bust averages. Just 0.1. Average clean breaks between them, 0.6. Errors, few extra there for Wigan. Offloads, KR like to keep it expansive. That's going to be my first question in a moment. Meters average, very similar, edged by KR, but look at the goals. 81% Kieran, 63% across all the kickers at KR. That in grand final rugby league could be critical. Let's have a little chat then about these. First things first, I'm going to go to Reggie. The stats there show it. 300 offloads to 192. KR. There's the old adage, play to your strengths, don't play to the opposition, but they've got to be clinical with their offloads. They've got to be clinical this weekend because they can ill afford to give up cheap possession to the Warriors.
Yeah, they can. And do you know what? These stats in general prove to me, as much as this hurts me as a Warrington fan, that the best 2 teams are in the grand final.
Yeah, absolutely.
And yet, those offloads have got to come off. And in a grand final, sometimes you have to play within yourself to win it. It cost Warrington when they were 18-2 up against Wigan. Their offloads cost them and they got beat. You've got to what you said was you can't play the opposition, but I think when you get to a grand final and you're playing against the Wigan, the Saints and the Leeds that have won it so many times on the bounce, that is the time that you have to play at least some of the time the opposition and not play within yourself and then get into the game and then start to play expansive rugby. And that has been to the cost of a lot of teams that have come against Wigan, Leeds, Saints in the past.
Steph, because I want
that makes sense.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I want Craig's view on this in terms of just at high level in terms of the 2 teams in a minute. Yeah. We spoke last week. You said Josh Fulis needed to put a seat on the bus for his boots. Didn't work out that way. I got a bit of sport, a bit of egg on me. There was no egg on the face where Super League Roar was concerned. Warrington went into that game with a far better kicking percentage, far better. It just didn't play out that way. That's it. That happens. It's sport. But Warrington have got far better kicking stats this year. And Wigan go into this final exactly the same way. A massive disparity between the accuracy of the Wigan's kicks and the accuracy of KR's kicks. Now, this could be, and it wasn't last week, but again, it is something to discuss. Over to you. I mean, could kicking be the difference? I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but there's 1 point difference, mate. I don't know if you saw this, but the difference, look at the attack and defence. Both are averaging the same conceding in every game. Just 1 point difference, 27 to 26. That's how tight it is. Goal kicking. I mean, we saw Harry Smith give a masterclass in the World Club Championship. We saw him give a masterclass in last year's grand final. How important could it be, Frank?
Well, Craig mentioned it earlier in terms of signing Reece Martin for full care for next season. The reason they're doing that, one of the main reasons, is for his goal kicking. That is one of the weak links in OKR. But I don't think last week that was a factor. There was only one goal kicked in the whole game, wasn't there?
Fearless of one.
They kicked one. It could be a factor. 100%, it could be a factor in this game. Harry Smith, I think more Harry Smith's in play kicking is a bigger factor than the actual goal kicking for me, because we all know how he can control a game. It's so intriguing, but it's great that the best two sides are there. There's nothing to split these two teams on the day. It's just, for me, about who turns up for the occasion, and for that reason, you've got to side with Wigan in terms of that experience of big game mentality. Like Reggie always says, Wigan always find a way. But like I've said many times before, sometimes miracles do happen. And what a story Hull KR are. You know, as someone who's a Lee Leopards fan, who's been through it all, we were playing in Blackpool, Hull KR and Lee, against each other not so long ago in the Summer Bash. Now with two teams who are playing in the playoffs. Hull KR story is amazing, from Craven Street to their attendances, and it's such a good story. I think from a neutral perspective, and it's not a Lee Wigan bias whatsoever, we've all said we want a team that's not won it to win the grand final, and there'd be nothing better for the sport. But for me, I think the biggest thing with this is it looking like it's going to be a sellout. Two huge crowds going to be going watching this game. So let's see what's going to happen.
Fantastic, outstanding. Yeah, I agree. I think it could be absolutely marvellous. Before we come to Craig to get the coach's insight into this one, we've seen who has won the Super League Raw Player of the Year. That, of course, is Mikey Lewis. But, of course, last year it was one Mr. Bevan French. He's a bit of a player.
Back to French. French with a footwork, puts the kick in. He wants to chase it himself. And a victory back to French. French over the top. Hall can't get there.
Here come Wigan with French on pass. Brilliant tackle, Bevan French.
Actually picked up by Miski, and now Bevan French will come skipping in, and he's put a kick and a chase in. And Bevan French making things happen in that magical fashion. Wigan with one to go, and Bevan French on the ball, who puts the kick behind. On to French. French with a kick. Kieran's on the chase. And Mikey French himself.
Bevan bouncing around. Puts a kick through. Brilliant, Bevan.
Craig, Bevan French. At the end of the day, often we think of Bevan French as a runner. He's got diamonds on the soles of his shoes this season with his kicking. On the Final Whistle podcast, which is a podcast we do on a Sunday with our Team Talk members, Alex Sharp summed it up perfectly. He's playing like a kid in the playground. And I don't think it could have been said any better. Not that I like giving Alex plaudits, but I will give him that one. But yeah, as a coach, let's do Wigan first. You're the coach of Hull KR going into this game. What's your message to your players in terms of the threats of Wigan and how to handle them?
Wigan, they're a strange team of Wigan, because they are, and this is going to sound really, really weird to say, because you don't want to be disrespectful to anybody at all. I'm not being disrespectful here, but you know what Wigan are going to do. You know what style Wigan are going to play. You know what structure they're going to play. You know what point they're going to set up on the field. You know what shape they're going to play. But they do it that well. It's really difficult to stop. And then on the back of that, you've got Bevan French, you've got Jai Field, who can score a try out of absolutely nothing. So you think you've got the shape sorted out. You know what players are going to come, but then before you know it, they've broke through, or Bevan French or Jai Field have put a little bit of a step on, or you can't defend against pace, and both of them have got pace in absolute abundance, and it's really, really difficult to defend against them. What we're going to do is they know what they want to do. They've got a real they've got a DNA, and everybody who plays for Wigan, whether it's through the scholarship, the academy, the reserves, the first team, they know what's expected of them, and they hold themselves to a high standard, and they hold themselves to a high standard off the field, and how they deal with people, and how respectful they are, and how classy they are off the field. And everybody who's involved with that Wigan club know what they need to do, and they know that if they don't do their job, they're going to be out of the team. And that for me is the ultimate level of where you need to be as a rugby league team. And I think the closest way we've got over here to Penrith at the minute in Australia is Wigan. I think the way that Wigan run off the field, the way that they run on the field, they hold themselves to the highest standards, and more often than not they deliver. So it's going to be really, really difficult for KR. And I think that for me, it seems really predictable and really easy to say, but Bevan French is the key. If you keep him quiet, then you go a long way to winning the game, because I think the forwards pretty much cancel themselves out. I can't see either forward pack having much of a win over the other one. I think they'll cancel themselves out, and then it's your unpredictable players. It's your Mikey Lewis, it's your Bevan French, it's your Jai Fields, people like that. Which one's going to pull something out? Because we've seen defences on top. They concede an average of 12 points a game all the way through the season. I think as a coach, if you concede less than 16 points in the game, you're going to win more games than you're going to lose, because you back yourself to score 18 points. So we know that defence is going to be on top. I think Wigan, if I'm right, have Wigan had 3 clean sheets in the last 3 games. So Wigan, they know how to win tournaments, they know how to win competitions, and they're peaking at the right time of the season, and their mentality is to get right for this final game of the season. So there's absolutely no doubt. I know we talked about maybe Lee not being on it, the game too far for Lee last week. I think that's being disrespectful to Wigan about how well they're prepared and how well they're on it at this stage of the season. They've done it too many times for it to be a fluke. And I think they're too good at this stage of the season not to win.
Right, well, we're not doing predictions just yet. Let's keep the pot half full in terms of joy for the KR fans, Craig. If KR are going to win this, how do they win it?
KR win it by playing like they've done all season. You can't, like I said earlier on, you can't referee a game different because it's a grand final. You can't play a game different because it's a grand final. They've got to play to their strengths. We talked about the 300 offloads, but I think how they've done that, I think they've still completed at well over 80% this year of Hull KR. So they're playing to a bit of a structure, but they're playing with that freedom within that structure as well. So they like the second phase stuff, but it's controlled. And again, that's testament to Willie Peters, is that he's got his Hull KR team drilled, that they're making the right decisions at the right time all the time. They've been consistent from pretty much day one of the season all the way through to now. So I think for KR, they've got to defend like they've done all season. They've got to work like they've done all season. I think the difference between KR and Wigan is that I think Wigan have maybe got 1 or 2 more players that can win a game out of nothing, whereas I think KR, for me, that we mentioned earlier, they have got the players that go under the radar. They do the little stuff that nobody else wants to do, and they've got a lot of people that do that. So I think them players have got to be 7, 8, 9 out of 10 all across the board to have a chance. I'm not saying that it weren't necessarily my prediction that Wigan are going to win the game, but that's where the smart money will be. But for me, KR have got to do what they've done all season, and they've got to play to Hull KR style, and they can't change that. But I think the big battle for me is it's the right hand side of Hull KR's defence against the left hand side of Wigan's attack. Because if there has been a weakness this season at points, it's been KR's right hand side, right edge defence. And you look up as a right edge defender playing for KR, and you look up at the left edge of Wigan that's attacking you, and it's pretty formidable. So you know that you've got a minute defensively.
Okay, before we go to the chaps, discipline clearly is going to be critical for both sides. That's crystal clear. in this one. Without being disrespectful to KR, because KR had an incredible season, is this a case of Wigan only have to worry about themselves? If Wigan play at optimum level and KR win at optimum level, do you think that's enough to get Wigan over the line? Or do you still think KR at optimum level? Because we saw what happened at the Brick. They had them. Up until those yellow cards, they had them. Those yellow cards were critical. So if both teams show up, Craig, is it a toss of the coin? Or if Wigan were at optimum, would they be too strong?
No, I think it's a toss of. I think if it's a league game, it's a toss of the coin. I think because it's a grand final and Wigan know how to prep for a grand final. I know KR have had some bigger occasions lately, but Wigan know how to prep for a grand final. And I like I said, I think it's 3 clean sheets in the last 3 games. They're peaking at the right time of the season when they know they need to peak. That's the worry for me with KR. So that KR have got to go into it without any fear. They've got to go into it and play like they've done all season. They can't go into the shells and try and play Wigan at their own game. They've got to play Wigan at KR's game.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I mean, look, we've just seen Bevan French. We've already seen Mikey Lewis. Greg, this is what we're talking about. 18, only 18 appearances for French this season, but his stats still stack up. Lewis has got 3 more tries, 10 more assists. Lewis 148 busts, 19 clean breaks to 12. The average carries 12 to 16. Average meters edged to French. Here's an interesting one. Man of the match, Bevan French, Bucky's favourite, 7-2. Mikey Lewis 4-1. If these two are on their A game on Saturday, then us neutrals in the stadium are in for a treat, aren't we?
Oh, mate, we are. Do you know they're the box office, the pair of them? Yeah, but how many games has French missed, and he's still on top of his game. I agree with Craig that KR have not got to play Wigan; they've got to play their own game. And Mikey Lewis has not got to play French; he's got to play his own game, because on those stats, Mikey Lewis is ahead of French. So it
is helped by the 8 games difference. We must say that.
Yeah, of course it is. But Mikey Lewis is pivotal in this game. He has got to play his own game. He's got to express himself, as sports people say. He's got to do the business. This is his chance to show the world what he can do.
To go with Junior to the NRL.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I was waiting for you to finish that sentence.
Well, Craig, is this Wigan KR or is it French versus Lewis? I think it's Wigan against KR, Steph. I think that it's bigger than French. Don't get me wrong, these two, if either of these two teams are going to win, these two players are more than likely going to have a big say in it. But I think there's too much quality in all the other positions to just simply say that it's a 2-man shootout.
Oh, 100%. There's quality in both teams, and there's no. It's not surprising that it's 1v2. These both have got quality squad. We found out exactly what Wigan can do last week. Wigan are ruthless, absolutely ruthless. And you show one bit of weakness, they will punish you 100%. But likewise, Hull KR can do the same. And you've got the player that's going to get the man of the steel, and he is going to. Michael Lewis will 100% win man of steel. He's got ours. He's going to get the official one as well. The key is, I think we've all spoke about, is Hull KR just need to play their own game. If they play their own game, then they've got a chance in this one. And it's going to be really interesting to see what happens. But the big thing is the Wigan have got this big game mentality. They played the World Club challenges. They played in Challenge Cups. They played in all the massive games. They know how to do it. Hull KR haven't got that experience. But I still think if Hull KR don't get drawn into that and they play how they should play, then it could be a very, very tight final. And I think it could be maybe the first golden point.
Well, that's that. Well, as you say, that'd be very interesting, wouldn't it? If that was the case. What I would say, what he says there, Michael Ashton saying Beaumont said French should be the face of the Super League. There's a lot of players that should be the face of Super League, Michael. A lot of places. There's no magazine show on Sky when it comes to Super League. You get 20 minutes of John on a Wednesday. That's it. That's the amount of promotion that this game gets. You've got other podcasts today saying that there should be less rugby league on the telly. I mean, you're just like, oh my God, we're here to grow a sport, for God's sake. What is going on? We've never had it so good. In fact, we're complaining because Sky Plus have not put the full games on the streaming. They're only putting highlights. Come on, Sky Plus, get it all. Come on, Mr. Sale, David Sale. Come on, brother of Stead.
Yeah, whatever your name is.
Yeah, I'll have a word with him.
The full games next year on the red button that we can watch after the game, because I was watching every single game live. Now I'm like Elvis Presley. I've got 3 screens on the go because that's the only, and I'm like watching them all at the same time because that's how dedicated I am. That's what it's about. Talking this game up, not talking it down. You need less rugby league on the telly. Shocking, unbelievable, absolutely shocking. There's controversy for you. I won't be getting my subscription renewed to that publication anytime soon. But anyway, that's by the by. Hey, I'm just saying it is. Need less rugby league on the telly. Behave yourself. When you've got fair like this. I mean, did you see that? Did you see that catch and pass from Hickey? I could watch that every day in a week, twice on a Sunday. Oh yes, all day long. Did you see Bevan French's little throughs? Oh. Come on, you've got to be watching rugby league football. None of this round ball nonsense. Oh, doesn't even hold a candle to our game. Anyway, let's carry on the merriment and the chat.
Yeah, right, Dave.
I like getting on my soapbox at least once an episode.
Can I just jump in on that? Just to combine them 2 subjects that we've just been talking about there. I know we've said it's not a Michael Lewis and a Bevan French head to head, and there's bigger and better contests all the way through the board. But I think rugby league shoots itself in the foot. You know, we don't promote ourselves well enough, and what we should be doing, we should be plastering Michael Lewis and Bevan French head to head all across Sky, all across your billboards, all across TV, all across publications, and this should be an head to head that we should be publicising. You know, rugby league don't do it enough, and I go back to the 2019 grand final when Saints won it on the last kick and scored. Yeah, after the ultra, that was rugby league's Aguero moment, and we heard nothing about it. There was absolutely nothing heard about it. That the most exciting finish of any game of any season in rugby league that finished on the last play of the game after the hooter, after all the competitions, after all the games. That was rugby league's Aguero moment, and we did nothing about it to publicise that as a sport. We should have been plastering that all over TV, and we should be doing that this week.
We don't celebrate this. We don't celebrate the talents that we've got. We do not do it, and it's absolutely because we've got some of the greatest superstars, the greatest, and ones that my kids, these are their superstars, and we should be absolutely celebrating it everywhere, and that's where rugby league really lets it down for me.
Yeah. Great stuff. Got in touch, Phil. Can I just say hello to our friends at Kinetic Rugby League? Good evening to you, gentlemen. Reggie, over to you.
Yeah, see, Craig had said Solskjaer rather than Aguero.
Anyway, we're not talking about Rambo on this podcast, but look, this is it. He's right. You know, our players deserve a pedestal, and that's why we do what we do. That's why so many of you are now watching us on a Tuesday night. You can't beat a bit of weekly on a Tuesday. I mean, the videos we put together, that's a celebration of quality rugby league players. You know, we've launched our dream team. Every player's had a 1 minute, 20-second induction into our dream team. Come on. That's the standard. That's what we want. Come on. None of this. We've got too much rugby league on the telly. Shocking. Anyway, back to Mr. Lingard. Matt Pass, something you've not spoke about. A lot of people talking about Jai Field in the chat, coming back to form at a pivotal part. Didn't have a great start to the season, but he's been getting progressively better. Balance that, if you will, Craig, with Parcell and Litton. For me, there's an opportunity for KR. No O'Neill is a big loss for Wigan. They're going into this game, arguably two of the best hookers in the game, Parcell and Litton. Both of them, if they come on against a tight defence, they can unlock a defence from around the ruck like nobody's business. Of course, they're going to be very reliant on Leeming doing a big shift. And you mentioned the likes of maybe Thompson or somebody deputising, which won't have, I mean, other than pass the ball, they're not going to go from dummy half, are they? So the two genuine hookers going up against one genuine hooker. Is that potentially one bit in the KR armoury that they could build on, and actually that could be the basis to go on and get the win?
Yeah, 100%, and that's part of Hull KR's DNA this year, is that their nines have played really well, and there's been a little bit of a shift, I guess. Jez Litton started the first half of the season playing the majority of the minutes, and then Parcell had come on a little bit later on in the game for the last 15-20 minutes, and it seems to have shifted in the second half of the season, where Parcell seems to be playing more games and Litton's coming on in the second half. But it's certainly a huge part of their game. And like we said, you can't play Wigan at Wigan's own game. There's only Wigan that can play that game. They're too good at it. So Hull KR have got to play to their strengths, and certainly that rotation at 9 and them 2 9s picking up and scheming around the area, that's part of their strengths. But to do that, their forwards have got to get the quick play of the balls. They've got to generate the second phase with the controlled offloads that they've got, that allows them then to attack static defenders in the middle, the less mobile players in the middle, to then get a quicker play of the ball. So it's not always, you're not always doing that to benefit on the play that you're on. It might be 2 plays down the line, because one quick ruck will generally lead to another quick ruck, will lead to another quick ruck. So that's part and parcel of their DNA, and that's what they've got to do. And it's play to their strengths. And as you say, I think them two nines could have a massive impact on the game.
Fantastic. We've just seen 2 inductees into our dream team. I think arguably the best 2 centres in the comp, Greg. And they're both on the right. They're both on the same side. So Wardle plays left edge, Hiku plays right. These are going head-to-head in the grand final. Outstanding. Look at the stats. Incredible. Hiku, 15 tries to 15 assists in the Wardle. Wardle has scored or made 24 tries, 28 for Hiku. Incredible. More tackleables from Hiku. Clean breaks, 20-16 in Wardle's, but we saw that great try against Huddersfield in his highlights reel. Outstanding stuff from there. The average carries 16-9. Hiku does more work. He also makes more meters, 136 tackles. Both of them done over 300 tackles this season. Look at the tackle efficiency though. Wardle 89%, Hiku 80. So going forward, you could argue that Hiku may offer more, because Wardle's an incredible attacking player. But defensively, Wardle might get a bit of joy because Hiku has missed the odd tackle this year. What's your thoughts on that, mate?
I just think Wardle's more dynamic. He can spot and intercept. He makes space for himself. Hiku can do all that. But I just think Wardle is just better at that spotting, that intercept. He's better at making space for himself, and can make space for his winger or his inside second row coming through. And that's no disrespect to Hiku. I think Hiku is, an amazing second row, amazing centre. But I think Wardle just edges it in that dynamism. Is that a word? But yeah, I think Wardle just edges it because of the team around him. If that, I think Wardle has just got it this one.
Fair enough. I think, Steph, you'll be loving this little tussle between Wardle and Hiku. It's a lovely little side.
It's a great tussle.
What a matchup this is. We had them so close in our our team of the season kind of thing. So yeah, it's going to be a fantastic matchup. If you look at last week, Wardle and Marshall absolutely destroyed Lee. Absolutely destroyed them. It'd be interesting to see defensively how they can match up against these two.
Couldn't agree with you more. To my friend who's not here this week, but I'm going to do it again. This is why you need to join the membership. What a great night of entertainment you've had. We're not a million miles away from getting to our predictions. Just one more slide to go. And then I'm going to be going around the team to get that final prediction for the grand final. But yeah, join the membership. This is great entertainment. We've already got Derek Beaumont coming. We've got Super League Raw live next year. Hopefully we'll get more guests joining us on weekly every week, like Craig, who's done a sterling job this evening, giving us the coach's inside track. And as Steph said, has probably got more knowledge of the game than all 3 of us put together, which is absolutely marvellous. There you go, Mr. Mason, just for you. I saw your comment. Cheeky, sir. Very cheeky. But anyway, that's by the by. Let's get into the final slide. And actually, Craig, he touched on this. He touched on it. He did. He touched on it. The edges. This is really interesting. Put this together for tonight's programme as well, because I thought this would be quite interesting. The edges. Where did the tries come from? Well, as most teams do, with the odd exception, maybe Saints being an exception with Tommy Mason, they tend to go right quite a bit, albeit Percival's potent on the left. But, most teams do favour the left. 47-48 couldn't be tighter. 36-39 on the right edge. So Burgess just edging out Miskey. Miskey's not had his best season this year. The Kieran Miskey partnership not been as potent as the King Miskey one of 2023. Then you look at the breaks. Breaks on the left-hand side, 69 from the Warriors. Now, just for clarity, what is that left-hand side? Well, I've gone off the semi-final. So the left-hand side is British. It's Harry Smith. It's Junior Nsemba. It's Wardle. It's Marshall. Breaks on the left-hand side for KR, 51. Breaks right. That's interesting. Breaks right for KR, higher, 40-32. Have a bit of joy on that right-hand side. And that's because Iku's over there. So you remember that side is the Tyrone May side. It's the Bachelor side, Hiku and Burgess, 40 over on that side. Tackle efficiencies, 89.2 on the left for Wigan, 86.5 for Hull KR on the left, of course, but it's the right edge of defence. If you're going to favour the left, it's the right edge of defence. And actually, KR do well there, 85.5 across their players to 84.9. I don't know what you can make of that. What I think it demonstrates is that they've both got very similar game styles in terms of how they shift the ball left and right. They have the same type of output left and right. It's interesting. Any thoughts on that, anyone?
I think look at Miskey in the semi-final. Miskey got caught by Lachlan Land, didn't he? He's not looked the same player for me as he did last year when he outscored Marshall. So I think that's somewhere where potentially Hull KR could target for me. If there's one bit of weakness, I think in Wigan, not saying that Miskey's a bad player by any means, but I think that's something that it'd be interesting to hear Craig's view on it. But if I was a coach, I would be looking at that semi-final and going, that's potentially one area where we could dominate.
And I'll lead into that with Craig if I may. Absolutely. I think defensively this season, the Kieran side, the right edge with Miskey, hasn't looked as assured. And of course, we know that's where the heavy artillery is for Hull KR. We talked about the hookers, Craig. If KR are going to win it, it's a bit of balance off as Burgess has gone on the right. But do you think that left edge of attack of KR holds the key?
Yeah, I think so. Like I said, that's where most teams attack the best in it down their left hand side. It's predominantly the strongest, and that's where you find the most attacking players down there. So again, it's playing to their strengths. And yeah, Miskey's not been good. He gets caught defensively at times looking in. I think both wingers at Wigan can get caught defensively at times looking in. So that's about where the halfbacks of KR picking the pass, and more often than not, it might be the long passer in front of the centre to the winger to actually cut the opposite winger out as well. So I think certainly attacking their stronger side, which is the left-hand side, that's what they've got to do, because that's where they've had all the strength this year. But I think one of the strengths that KR get as well is they like to take a short side. It's not always the big right to left shift or the big left to right shift. Quite often it's a stepping out from round about a scrum line and jumping down short side and looking for lazy defenders or defenders that switched off. And they do get a lot of joys taking short sides, and really short sides, like proper skinny short sides as well. So the short side edge defenders are we're going to have to be switched on with that one.
Right. Try to unwrap this as much as possible. I'm going to go to Greg first. Just to clarify the try scoring. Interesting. Marshall 27. Miskey scored 11. That's 38 combined. Hall and Burgess 14 and 13, 27 combined. We're now going to predict, and then we're going to bring this brilliant show to an end. We hope you've enjoyed it. And Rebecca did say she'd go, so I still want you to go and put there'll be plenty of prizes coming out next year and throughout the winter. But Rebecca, if you can make the grand final, you've just got yourself a ticket, courtesy of Super League Raw. So you need to let me know if you're definitely coming. These are gold dust, Rebecca. Gold dust. That's what they are. So only accept if you can come. But if you can, I will get that ticket to you. You can meet us at the Piccadilly Tap, 1:30. Come and meet new friends, because let me tell you now, this community, go and have a look on our Facebook page. Look at the photos that have been taken all year. It's a community. You'll be in safe hands. You'll love it. You'll absolutely love being a part of our community. Do come and watch. Albeit, obviously, you've got to contend with Greg. His face said it all, didn't it? But anyway, that's bad. Oh, your face then, what was all that about? Anyway, Rebecca said she would come. So Rebecca, you send me through Patreon. Send me your details, your telephone number through Patreon. I'll give you a call tomorrow and we'll get it all sorted and we'll get that done. But you are now going to the grand final, courtesy of Super League Raw. It's worth tuning in for. You never know when a prize is going to come. There you go. And of course, we've also got Phil Webster who's contacted me as well. There we were as well. Looking forward to being with the community. Keep your eye on our Facebook page. We'll let you know where we are. Come and say hello. Outstanding stuff. Right, John, of course, and when his missus coming, he's looking forward to Saturday as well. Right, here we go. Crunch time. Gary Schofield's gone Wigan by 14. Joel Scholes has gone Wigan by 1-8. The fans forum have gone Wigan by 9-17. Should we pay any credit to any of that? Well, let's go to the prediction league. And as you can see, I've won for the second time in 4 years. Oh, yes, the crown is mine. 423 points this season for me. Gary Schofield, 401. He can still be caught. But, well, actually, he can't. He can't. So, Joel, if you want to have a chance of winning second spot, you're going to need to change your prediction to Hull KR. It's the only way you can do it, mate, because you need 5 points. You get 5 points, you will top up Mr. Schofield. So if you want to change that, I'll allow you to change that. No problem. Greg, at best, you can catch Joel. Just to remind you, at the moment, Joel there has gone Wigan 1-8. Steph, quite frankly, mate, unfortunately for you, you're just going to be above the fans forum this year. It's been an absolute shocker. Next year, Ellie, she needs to be in the chair. She needs to be guiding the dad to predictions because, quite frankly, sir, you've had a mare. That's by the by. So that's the prediction league. Of course, we'll put the final one up next week. Right, let's go around the screen. Starting with you, Steph. Who wins by what margin?
Right. I do genuinely think it could come down to golden point, this one. I think it's going to be a really, really tight game. I think the best two teams have got there. If Hull KR play like they should play, I'm going Hull KR 1-8.
1-8 KR, says the Sale. Greg.
As I said right at the beginning of the season, the only way a new name will go on the trophy is if Wigan, Saints or Leeds aren't there. I've gone for Wigan all season because they're simply the best team in the league. And I don't mean that as disrespectful to Hull KR. They've done brilliant to get there.
And on a separate note, raise your glass to Tina Turner. All the best. Carry on, sir. Carry on.
Craig fourth. I am going to go Wigan.
Oh! By what?
9-17.
Oh, and suddenly the Wigan fans are bringing eggs to Old Trafford. They're absolutely disgusted with you, sir. This is an in-joke, Craig. Whenever Greg backs, the other team win. So that's, oh dear, all the Wigan fans are absolutely... Anyway, here we go.
Street parties in East
parties in...
I should take that mantle, though, now, being the worst in the...
You should. Mark Smith's delighted with that. Right, let's just, before we get Craig's going to give us the last prediction. Ian Rispin, KR 1-8, on the basis that we did well at the break. You did, mate. Dawn Baker feels ill at the thought of golden point. I think it'd be absolutely marvellous. Oh, the theatre of that would happen.
It's going to happen.
Oh, it'd be wonderful. Dawn Baker, surprisingly, she's back in her own club, 9-17, the Wigan Warriors. Please stop saying golden point, says Craig Forth. John Wilkinson, 1-8. Brett Johnson, Rovers 1-8. Golden point for Rebecca Frey, who is now joining the Super League Raw community on Saturday. Mark Smith, KR by 4. Andy Bibber, not giving us who dares wins, he's saying. Daz Dean, Wigan 9-17. Craig Forth, Wigan 1-8. Vicky Sale is saying that she does think that Ellie should do Steph's predictions next year because he's been shocking. Peter Mason, Wigan by 16-22. As always, Peter's making up his own rules. Simon Kendrick, Wigan by 12+. Simon, we do 1-8, 9-17 and 18+, sir, just for next season, just so you know. No dramas. Freddie McGilvey, Uncle Freddie's in the house. Gone Wigan 9-17 as Uncle Freddie. Matty Sales gone Wigan 1-8. Tom Mackey, he's gone by 4. Mikey Lewis, Man of Steel. Mikey Lewis has won the Man of Steel, we're being told, and richly deserved. For Mikey, many congratulations. But of course, he will, of course, enjoy the Super League Raw trophy so much more. No doubt about that. But yeah, there you go. I think I've gone right the way through them. So now we're going to go to Craig. Craig, who wins and by what score?
Wait. I think it's the right game. I think first versus second. I think it's the right game for the occasion. I just think Wigan have peaked at the right time, and I can't go against Wigan. I think it'll be close. So I think it's Wigan by 8 points. It'll be Wigan 1-8.
Right, okie dokie, outstanding stuff. So there you go. There's the scores. There's the predictions. They're all in. You've heard what we've had to say. A massive thank you to Craig for joining us. I mean, the fans have loved it, mate. Absolutely loved it. They'll want you back. There'll be placards in stadiums next year. Back to Super League Raw.
No one will be wearing any shoes.
Oh, but yeah, there's hats on, and there'll all be no shoes. And please come back to Super League Raw. I'm sure Craig will. Stick around, Craig, because we want to say thank you to you again when we go off there in a moment. But absolutely outstanding champion bloke. Loved in conversation. Loved tonight as well. Fantastic, wonderful stuff. Steph, absolute pleasure as always, mate. Looking forward to your company on Saturday. And Mr. Nixon, as always, couldn't do it without you. Ladies and gentlemen, last things from me for tonight. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show. You can see we're getting bigger and better. More people are doing the QR code. If you've not enjoyed this has got to be worth. Look, for less than a latte, you can support Super League Raw every month. It allows us to put prizes on. It allows us to get better production and give you this entertainment. Please do become a part of the greatest community on earth. And a plea, this is a plea to me, to you, the fans. We don't want any trouble on Saturday. This is the greatest sport on earth, supported by the greatest people on earth. We understand that there's the odd idiot. We get that. But sometimes that has to be self-policed. You have to build your own culture. Culture is what we've got. Rugby League has always had friendly banter, great respect between supporters. Let's show the world that we've not only just got the best game on earth, but we've also got the best supporters that will go to a stadium and, yes, quite rightly, shout loud and proud about their team and get behind their team. And, yeah, give a bit of banter to the opposition. But that's where it stops. When it's all over and done, we go back to the Piccadilly tap. We get somebody to pour us a pint. We discuss all of those interesting decisions that have been made, and we go home happy that we've witnessed another spectacle of the greatest game on earth with the greatest people on earth. That is my plea to each and every one of you. Let's show the world why, both on the pitch and off the pitch, Super League is the only place to be. And, of course, the rest of Rugby League. Good luck as well for those who are in the wheelchair final on Sunday. We must say that. Ladies and gentlemen, we normally go out with the top performers. We now have a dream team. So this is now the official dream team of 2024. Enjoy the grand final. We will see you for the Final Whistle podcast on Monday morning for your commute to work. And we will be back to unpack all of the grand final action with Derek Beaumont next Tuesday, because Steph
can't be doing weekly.
You can't.
Hey!
Enjoy the final, everyone.
Drinkwater helps it up to Williams, and then a lovely little pass, and Duffy's suddenly sailing through, and Duffy's got support, but he doesn't need it. He was sailing underneath the sticks.
The counter punch, French into the line, gets it away, checks it, flick pass! Oh, what a finish! What a finish, Marshall! Here Kevin Wilson pounces on the loose ball. His first try in the red and white of Hull Kingston Rovers.
Harry Smith putting the kick behind Bussy-Till, and into the hands of Marshall. Quickness of mind, brilliance of hand, and the coolest of finish. Reward
by Williams, they might play on here. Axton's got it. Axton's got it. It's away. Only the fullback to make. Axton will score.
John Hayes brave there, taking on Mike McMeekin. Oh, brilliant from Williams. Absolutely brilliant from the England captain.
This last play, Tyrone May. And a little step back on the inside by Mikey Lewis. And Mikey Lewis, would you believe it? Well, if you've been watching them all season, you would believe it.
Housley goes to the left-hand side of Essay!
Lewis gets away from the tackle, out towards Matt Parcell for the hat-trick. Wait on the line, Bussy-Till loses it, May picks it up,
they're over.
And it's a try! Whitbread's first!
Smith something happen, and Semba does well and bounces off the defender, and Junior and Semba. Little kick over the top by Lockie Miller. The leap, but oh! That finishes it. Reece Martin looking to get things on. Minchella's running back at Busquets because he wasn't square. Wow, that's clever play from Elia Minchella.